All right, welcome to the new leadership team. What we're going to do here is walk you through our sponsor services playbook. This is the absolute core strategy that you'll be executing. Think of it as the engine of our entire business, and you guys are the ones with the keys.
So let's just dive right in. This quote, this gets to the absolute heart of the challenge that our sponsors are up against. I mean, they have these really complex, super important messages, and yet they're constantly told to just keep it simple. Well, we think that's just wrong. Our whole purpose is to make sure their message gets heard, not watered down, but understood in all of its depth and power.
So, how do we actually make that happen? Well, it all starts with who we're connecting with. That's what Section 1 is all about, connecting with the real decision makers. This is not about casting a wide net or, throwing something against the wall to see what sticks. This is about surgical precision. It's about knowing exactly who we're talking to and why they're the ones that matter.
So let's talk about this audience. Look, we're not trying to reach everybody. We are laser-focused on a very specific group, America's decision makers. These are the people with serious capital, deep business acumen, and real influence. And you got to remember, because of who they are, this is a sophisticated and honestly a pretty skeptical group. You can't just show up with a sales pitch. You have to earn their time. You have to engage them in a real conversation where their input is actually valued.
And this next idea, it's really the foundation for everything we do. With an audience this discerning, trust isn't a transaction. It's not something you can just buy. It has to be earned over time. It accumulates bit by bit through real personal interactions. Our entire strategy is built on that simple but really powerful truth.
So, how do we build that trust? How do we create those interactions? Well, that brings us to our actual process. Section 2 is all about our funnel, how we attract and then engage these high-value individuals.
Okay, so our method, it's a simple but super powerful three-step process. First up, we invite. We start things off by offering something of real value for free. Maybe a webinar, an exclusive report, a private event. The whole goal is just to pique their interest. Then, step 2, we inform. This is where we start building that trust I was talking about. We demonstrate our expertise and we show them why they should care. And only after we've earned that attention do we move on to the final step, engage. This is the payoff. This is where we facilitate those meaningful two-way conversations that create real, tangible opportunities.
And our founder, Jason Gale, he really hit the nail on the head with this one. We're not just some passive platform where people connect. No way. We are expert facilitators. Our job is to get in there and make sure these conversations are incredibly valuable and productive for everyone involved.
All right, so following this whole process, it brings us to Section 3. And honestly, this is where our model just completely separates us from everyone else. See, we don't just generate a bunch of activity. We deliver something so much more valuable. We deliver ideal stakeholders.
And this really forces a big question, doesn't it? Are sales leads really the goal? I mean, look, anyone can go out and generate a list of names, but a long list of low-quality contacts, that doesn't create any strategic value. It just creates busy work. So for us, the answer is a hard no.
Okay, so let's break down the difference here, because it's huge. A generic sales lead, that's just a contact to follow up with. It's a quantity game. An ideal stakeholder, now that's what we call a 5-star candidate. This isn't just about someone who showed some basic interest. This is about someone who's been vetted and is ideally aligned with our sponsor. Contacting a lead starts a sales process. Contacting an ideal stakeholder, that starts a strategic partnership. It is the absolute definition of quality over quantity.
So, you're probably asking, what exactly is an ideal stakeholder? Well, just think of the absolute perfect match. It's that client who's going to buy everything you've got. It's the perfect investor partner who shares your long-term goals. It's the strategic collaborator who just gets your vision from day one. That is who we find.
But finding them, that's really only half the battle. We deliver what's basically a complete intelligence package. Yeah, you get the contact info, but you also get detailed biographies, deep insights into what they actually need from providers like our sponsors, and you get comprehensive market intelligence reports. So this is not just a list of names. This is real, actionable strategic intel.
To put it as simply as possible, this is what we do. This is our core expertise. We find these people, we recruit them, and we populate our sponsors' CRMs with them. We manage that entire pipeline, from that first flicker of awareness
all the way through to a qualified strategic introduction.
Okay, so that's the value we create. For our final section here, let's get into how we actually monetize it. Section 4, our monetization strategy.
So we have a whole toolkit of offerings we use to deliver all this value. On one side, you've got our campaign types, things like high-stakes investor summits, client advisory boards, or technology showcases. And on the other side, it's through these campaigns that we generate all of our high-value intelligence reports, the contact info, the bios, the market analysis, the whole shebang.
And when we work with our sponsors, we basically have two main ways we can structure the deal, which gives us a ton of flexibility. First is fee for service. Pretty straightforward, right? They pay a direct fee for our expertise, our planning, and our execution. The second is revenue share. Now this is where it gets really interesting. This is a true partnership where we align our success directly with theirs and we get a piece of the success that we help create.
So for us, for everyone in this room, the big strategic goal is crystal clear. We need to build a really healthy, balanced business. And what that means is having a great mix of both our content-driven revenue streams, like the campaigns we just talked about, and also more traditional advertising. Both are absolutely vital for our long-term growth.
And that's the playbook. The strategy is clear, it's proven, and it's incredibly powerful. You now have the blueprint. So as you all step into your new leadership roles, I'm going to leave you with the one question that's really going to define our future. With this playbook in hand, where is our single biggest opportunity to grow?